The most dangerous hunters are the ones who have learned to be patient with their hunger. Out here, to be noticed, is the beginning of the end. The chase is brief. The waiting that comes before it can last for days. At this hour, the land holds both the mystery of night and the clarity of day. Bird calls rise into the cool air as the plains begin to stir. The first movements of the morning are small, cautious, and full of purpose. Night travelers slow down while daytime life begins to take over. For a short time, two worlds share the same light. The new day begins with a quiet exchange between darkness and color. Every sunrise reshapes the rhythm of the savannah before any journey begins. The first warmth reaches the highest branches before descending toward the ground. Treetops catch fire with light, while the soil below remains cool and dim. The sun climbs behind the horizon, turning silhouettes into living forms. Low light traces the edges of the landscape with remarkable precision. The smallest movement becomes dramatic against the brightening sky. Dust suspended in the air glows like a veil over the plains. The plains move from darkness to detail in a matter of minutes. Before the day becomes harsh, the savannah offers a brief hour of softness. Dust moves through the savanna in low clouds that gather around trunks. Its influence can be felt without being seen. The bark catches fine particles and holds them in its rough surface. Leaves lose their brightness beneath a thin layer of earth. Dust can block light and reduce the efficiency of already stressed foliage. A brief wind may cover the canopy again soon after it has been cleared. The tree carries the colour of the surrounding soil through the driest months. The first storm cleans as well as nourishes. When rain finally falls, dark streams wash down the trunk. For a moment, the true colour of bark and leaves returns. Until then, the dust remains a visible sign of prolonged dryness. Heat creates its own kind of movement around the trees. Air rises from exposed ground and bends the view of distant branches. The canopy may appear to shimmer within the midday haze. At ground level, the hottest air gathers where there is no shade. The tree interrupts this flow and creates cooler pockets around its base. Small animals use these pockets to reduce the strain of the day. Even insects adjust their activity to the temperature beneath the branches. the tree becomes a structure around which heat is redistributed. No mature tree reaches its final form without losing part of itself. Some trees store water in thick trunks, roots, or swollen underground structures. In an open landscape, a single canopy changes the atmosphere close to the ground. These reserves allow them to outlast weeks of intense evaporation. The sky offers freedom, but every flight is shaped by hunger, distance, and the need to conserve energy. Broad wings turn invisible air into a steady path across the savanna. Quick wing beats carry smaller birds between trees, water, and hidden feeding grounds. A single silhouette against the horizon can give the vast sky a sudden sense of purpose. Every species occupies the sky in its own way, from low darting flights to wide circles overhead. The open plains make even distant movement visible against the changing background of cloud and light. Birds often reveal the presence of life before anything on the ground can be clearly seen. A sudden rise from the grass can transform a quiet scene into a burst of motion. Flocks live together, turning hundreds of separate bodies into one flowing shape. Some birds rise on warm currents, allowing the heat of the plains to carry them higher. Their coordinated turns create patterns that seem to bend and fold across the sky. No leader is obvious, yet the group reacts with astonishing speed and precision. The movement of a flock can change direction faster than the eye can follow. Above the African savanna, the sky becomes a second wilderness, alive with wings, wind, and shifting light. Each bird watches those nearest to it, building unity through constant attention. Collective flight turns the sky into a living pattern of rhythm and response. Together, they create safety from numbers and confusion from motion. A wide formation can spread across the horizon, then tighten within seconds. Others skim just above the grass, following every contour of the land beneath their wings. Birds cross the open air like moving signals, revealing changes in weather and activity far below. Each cycle creates a slightly different arrangement of life. Animal trails form a hidden network across the grasslands. Repeated movement presses narrow lines through the vegetation. Some routes connect water, shade, and feeding areas. Others follow the easiest ground across slopes and depressions. The plains do not return exactly as before. From a distance, these paths may look like faint threads. They record choices made by generations of travelers, Many routes exist because the landscape repeatedly rewards them. A trail may remain useful long after its original makers have gone. Movement helps connect distant sections of the savanna. New growth can hide old paths, but movement often reveals them again. Trails intersect like lines drawn across the vegetation. The endless plains are crossed by a history of journeys. Animals carry seeds, nutrients, and information across the land. A herd, leaving one area, changes the conditions it finds elsewhere. Seasonal journeys link wet areas with dry ones. The plains function as a broad system of exchange. Paths of movement shift as resources change. The landscape influences travel, and travel reshapes the landscape. These relationships unfold across distances too large to observe at once. The endless grasslands are united by movement. No patch of grassland develops entirely on its own. From above, the plains reveal patterns invisible at ground level. Too much separation increases vulnerability, but too little space can create tension. Social order helps reduce conflict when many animals share a limited area. Dominant individuals may claim priority without needing to fight. A turn of the head or a deliberate step forward can be enough to make another animal yield. Individuals constantly adjust their distance from one another. Most disputes are settled through signals that prevent costly injury. On open ground, animals may spread into a broad front. Physical strength matters, but social experience often determines when it is used. The herd changes shape as it crosses different terrain. Older animals usually understand how far a challenge can go before it becomes dangerous. Young adults may test boundaries more often as they search for their place in the group. These encounters help establish relationships that later organize access to resources. Not every animal receives the same information at the same time. In narrow passages, the group becomes a line guided by those at the front. During alarm, scattered individuals can compress into a tighter formation within seconds. Social coordination turns many separate bodies into one responsive mass. Those near the edge often react first to movement outside the group. Their response is copied by neighbors until the message reaches the center. The size of a gathering often reflects the balance between food availability and danger. Small groups can feed with less competition, while large groups provide more eyes against predators. Moving young offspring may become necessary when safety conditions change. Each relocation carries risk, especially across open ground. Newborn predators depend entirely on warmth, protection, and regular feeding. Their early survival is closely tied to the condition of the adults around them. Food shortages affect the youngest members first. During difficult seasons, even experienced mothers may struggle to provide enough. Parental care requires repeated journeys between the hunting area and the young. Every absence leaves the offspring temporarily more vulnerable. Returning adults use scent and sound to locate hidden young. Recognition helps maintain bonds within crowded or complex social groups. As the young grow, they begin to follow adults beyond the shelter of the den. The outside world introduces them to heat, distance, and unfamiliar danger. Small journeys gradually prepare them for the wider territory. Protection decreases as their physical ability and awareness improve. Learning where to rest is nearly as important as learning how to hunt. A poor resting site may expose a predator to heat, rivals, or disturbance. Shade becomes a valuable resource during the hottest hours. Pregnancy, nursing, and protection increase the energy needs of the mother. The chosen site must provide concealment without isolating the mother from food. A secure den or sheltered resting place can become essential during the earliest weeks. Water controls access to space as much as it provides relief. Wetlands require slower and more deliberate movement. A marsh may look open from a distance but contain deep channels and unstable ground. Later, floods erase these temporary pathways. Reeds can hide water beneath what appears to be solid vegetation. The landscape alternates between separation and connection. Life adjusts at every step of the transition. Their complexity supports life that could not survive on the surrounding dry plains. Marshes store water over broad areas rather than in one visible channel. This distributed moisture helps them endure after direct rainfall has ended. Their arrival supports larger visitors later. Shallow flooding creates a rich boundary between aquatic and terrestrial life. As the water retreats, exposed ground becomes highly productive. Mudflats may appear empty before they attract a new wave of activity. Small organisms respond first to the changing conditions. Water moves into old depressions and reconnects separated pools. Each stage of drying creates a different opportunity. The wetland does not simply disappear, it passes through several ecological forms. Open water becomes shallow pools, then mud, then grass. The return of rain reverses the process and begins another cycle. Seasonal travel prevents one feeding area from carrying the full burden for too long. Seeds, nutrients and plant material move with them across great distances. Movement spreads their demand across the landscape. Their bodies become vehicles for ecological exchange. Their power is visible, but their patience is what allows them to persist. Their journeys help connect distant sections of the savannah. A single herd can reshape the condition of the plains along an entire route. During the wet season, fresh vegetation allows them to rebuild strength. The giants carry the influence of one habitat into another. The return of green growth supports recovery, reproduction, and the raising of young. Abundance briefly shortens the distance between food and water. For a time, the giants can feed without traveling as far. Across the African savannah, the giants remain symbols of endurance on an extraordinary scale. As the land dries, their movements become longer and more deliberate. But the season of plenty is never permanent. The cycle continues through memory, movement, and survival. No single source can support large bodies forever without pressure. Their size captures attention, while their daily choices secure another day. As darkness approaches, the waterhole becomes a place of heightened caution. The final sunlight reaches treetops before disappearing from the ground below. Leaves glow at their edges, then fade into the dark shape of the canopy. The last calls of the day drift through branches already hidden in shadow. Branches form intricate patterns against a sky still filled with color. Shade beneath the trees expands until it merges with the coming night. A resting place that offered relief from heat becomes shelter from darkness. The tree line turns into a single dark boundary across the horizon. Every splash carries farther in the calm air of evening. Once the light is gone, the same branches will belong to a different world. Evening transforms every tree into a landmark for those still moving. Birds gather at familiar perches before the sky loses its brightness. Water seems to hold the day a little longer than the grasslands around it. Each passing moment becomes part of an ancient pattern of renewal. The wilderness survives because it never remains the same for long. Another cycle begins, where this one appears to close. The savannah continues, shaped by what has passed and what has yet to come. The plains hold no permanent ending, only transitions. As one path disappears, another is already forming through the grass. What leaves the frame still belongs to the greater story of the land. Every departure opens space for a new arrival. The plains continue to exchange life, energy, and opportunity. The final silence belongs to a landscape still full of unseen movement. The wilderness remains connected through journeys that never meet on screen. One animal's ending can become another animal's chance to survive.